Ayaka, that's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like you to give a second round of applause for Ayaka. Woo! I hope that was very mood setting. So, welcome to the Brain Bar Salon. We are live in Brooklyn, New York. Before we get started, I'm Kyle Mingelkamp, and this is Jess Brain.
Yes, really. My last name is Brain. Meant to be here.
Before we get started, we're going to play a video, and that has been, it's a short little teaser of what we've been doing the past 2 years. COVID, and now back in the bar space. Even though this is a terrace, it's a bar because we have a sign over there that says a bar. So, hit it, guys.
How did I get from there to here? It starts with doing things that you want to do.
You know, what's most important to you. For me, there are things like love, growth, contribution.
We have a lot more control of our brain than we think.
Is that laughter yoga is about cultivating joy.
This really is changing the meaning of life, or being alive. Life is about us collecting a lot of experiences that we evaluate and know which ones work for us, which ones don't, and we use them as tools to make ourselves better.
He looked at me and said, now I want you, Barbie, to sing your name. Your name.
And I don't think you have to wait to have a greater life to be grateful. I think if you begin being grateful, you could have a greater life.
I lost 37 years of my life and I don't care at all.
Okay.
I mean, why on earth would I bother wasting my time in the present moment worrying about what I did before? And so, first of all, if I were you, I'd stop caring. You know, you lost the first 13 years. Who gives a damn? Move on. Because there's so much exciting stuff going on in the present. Allow yourself to be in the present. Try embracing what you can do and what you do have and finding joy and peace in that.
As someone I'm vibing with you, that I feel connected with you, a lot of times you're feeling their heart energy or their heart's magnetic field and not the brain's.
Amazing sex. It actually comes down to safety.
If you want to change a love situation, you can do it together.
That can romanticize your life.
You find a new path in your world, but you show up. You are the only person who decides who you are and how people perceive you. It's not your story that creates you, you create your story.
I would have these dreams throughout the coma that were just weird and they kind of just stuck with me. There was this one dream that I remember. It changed my outlook on life entirely, and I was kind of just in this area where I was just hanging out in these clouds, kind of. And I was just sitting there and this bus pulls up and I was confused and I'm like scared, like, you know, you don't talk to strangers. Like, that's not what you do. You're a kid, you don't talk to strangers. But this door opens and like this bus driver is like talking to me. He's like, get on the bus, we gotta go. And I'm just looking there and I could see my dad holding my hands next to me and I'm sitting there and I'm screaming. Like, I'm yelling, I'm like, don't let me go, I can't go. And I do believe if I got on that bus, I would not be here today. And that's how I feel about that. And I live every day now just thinking, wow, I really should be dead. Like, I should not be here. And that's how I go on with life. And I just appreciate everything I have in life because I should not be here. I'm very fortunate.
You're like, how do I create something new from a whole bunch of people talking about dreams? But you never know, because you could go home and dream up the next thing that you're doing. So I'm going to get to a little bit of it in a second, but I want to kick it over to Jess, and she is going to give you the run of the show.
It wasn't that long ago that it was completely taboo to talk about dreams. It was considered career or academic suicide. So it's amazing that we can all be here tonight, and we have some phenomenal guests for you. We have a neuroscientist sharing their insights on dreams and lucid dreaming, an artist sharing their vision and how we can manifest our dreams in our waking life, and then also a brain survivor sharing some of their stories on how they've used dreams to help them heal. But before we get into dreams, as a brain fitness coach, I always encourage people to get good sleep, because that will have a ripple effect into everything else that we do in our lives. So I do have a really good, simple brain hack for you this evening that can help you get to sleep really quickly. But I'm not going to tell you that now, because I don't want you to fall asleep. So make sure you stay around to the end so I can teach you this. Now let's get into dreams. Have you ever wondered what happens when we go to sleep? Have you stayed up late to try and find out? Well, we are about to find out what happens when we dream, and it's set to be better than your wildest dreams you can imagine.
Logan on the video, he was in a coma and dreamt up, that bus driver pulling up. That was his vivid dream. Where he got that, I don't know, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't know. But people in the brain survivor space often have those dreams, and as well as people who aren't brain survivors. So why? Maybe it's for people to go out and achieve their dreams. Maybe creating something new. Maybe we should pay attention to our dreams. I had a dream of being an NBA basketball player. I used to be pretty good, and I had a brain aneurysm at the age of 11, and my dad told me, we're going to get back your basketball skills. So I made the high school basketball team with the Kyle style, doing things my own way, and it worked. But halfway through high school, I began to notice that maybe basketball wasn't my dream. There's this video production course opening up, and I went to my coach, who knew me before, and he said, Kyle, the old Kyle is dead, gone. The new Kyle is for you to go on an adventure and discover who you are and who you're meant to be. And that right there opened up an entire new dream. So maybe that's what dreams are made of. But here tonight, we're going to find out a perspective of dreams. There's a whole lot of research over the years, and really, I don't think that anyone has it figured out. With these people and these three speakers, maybe you can draw something up for yourself. So, I want you to listen, be curious, and see what comes up for you. Because I can damn be sure something will spark a dream tonight. We have one rule, and one rule only. There is no right and there is no wrong. It's only perspective. We've had hecklers from up in the other apartment. Yeah, you know. We've had, people who disagreements, all fair game, because we want the most real, raw conversation, because that's the only way we can create a new possibility. So, without further ado, I want to bring up our first speaker, Akpanaluo. Yeah. All right.
Excellent.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. 2 years ago, I was in this neighborhood and I went into a coffee shop. I sat down at a table near the wall, and there was a picture that was hanging on the wall, and the aesthetic was similar to what you would see for like one of those like CPR training pictures of image by image what to do if someone were choking. But this one was a little bit different. It actually gave instructions on what to do in order to realize that you were dreaming, and the steps to prod your mind into realizing that you were dreaming. And then once you realize you were dreaming, i.e. entering the lucid dream state, what you could then do to take advantage of the dream state. And it wasn't until the next day that I realized that in and of itself was a dream. And I think that moment is very emblematic about how much I am deeply fascinated by dreams, and in particular, accessing the lucid dream state. My name is Akpanaluo, and I have a deep and enduring love of all things pertaining to the brain. It goes back to when I was 7, and my grandmother suffered a stroke, and then she was ultimately diagnosed with Alzheimer's before she passed away. It continued into high school and through college when I studied neuroscience. And even post-college, even though I did not continue to study neuroscience, it has been the lens through which I interpret the world. It's the lens through which I gain a deeper understanding of myself, and it also helps me guide my conversations with others and helps me understand people at a very deep level. Moving back specifically to the topic of dreams, I'm sure that, like myself, a lot of you are curious what actually is the purpose of dreams. And of course, dreams are difficult to study because unlike other states of mind, people aren't really awake to report what's going on, and it's difficult to conduct studies that are able to tease these sorts of things out. But a number of clever studies have been able to demonstrate some of the benefits of dreams. One of the interesting findings is that dreams actually have a therapeutic effect. There was one study that looked at the dreams that people had after they suffered a traumatic event in their lives, and the people who had dreams that incorporated aspects of that traumatic event into their dreams, they were actually able to recover significantly better than those who did not have dreams at all, or dreams that did not relate to those traumatic experiences. So there's evidence to show that having dreams soon after a traumatic event actually helps us process the emotions and helps us move forward. There are some other studies where they basically took advantage of the knowledge that if you are woken up during different phases of sleep, and I'll just divide it up simply into REM sleep, which is the state of our sleep where we're most likely to have dreams, versus non-REM sleep. You actually maintain some of that sleep state while you're immediately being woken up. And so they had a study where they would wake up people during the REM sleep, the dream-inducing sleep, and non-REM sleep, and during the night when they got woken up in those different stages, they would be given puzzles where they had to rearrange letters and express the single solution for how those letters could be arranged into a word. So, doing anagram puzzles. And they actually found that when people were woken up during REM sleep, the dream sleep, they were actually better able to solve these puzzles than the non-REM sleep, and even better than solving those puzzles while awake. So there's evidence to indicate that there is this sort of creative problem-solving force that is imbued in our dreams, which is really fascinating. And growing up, I was not aware of those studies, but I did have an intuition around the problem-solving capabilities of dreams, because I would oftentimes wake up with answers to mathematical problems, just coming out of a dream. And so when I became more familiar with dreams and how they work, as I studied neuroscience, I became really interested in being able to tap into the lucid dream state. And so I didn't learn about that from classes, but I just learned about it just out and about, having conversations with people and having conversations with people who do lucid dreams. And so a couple of the techniques that I learned about, I would, pick up an object and look at it and then turn it around. And as I would do that, the figure would become distorted. So I would start doing that while awake. And I would do that for a couple of days. And then I would start doing that as I dreamt. And so I would do it, while awake, start doing it while I'm sleeping. And I was like, oh, that changed. That's weird. And that's how I'd realize that I was dreaming. Another thing I learned to do was I would look at an object, I'd look away, and I'd look back at it, and it would become mangled and distorted. And so this was a pretty reliable way of being able to identify whether I'm awake or asleep. Now, I was able to enter lucid states, and I've been able to construct buildings with my mind, which is really cool. I've also had some experiences flying around a carousel once I realized I was in a lucid state. But the issue with the techniques that I'd picked up was that, seeing these distortions kind of like freaked me out and would oftentimes wake me up. So if I look at this plant, I look away and it's this mangled thing, I'm like, and I'd wake up. And so just a couple of months ago, I mentioned this to a friend of mine, because I do often get into conversations about dreams, and she is an avid lucid dreamer and has been lucid dreaming extensively since childhood. And what she suggested that I do when that happened was to try to imagine a very happy scenario and try to invoke that as hard as I could. And so the next time that I became lucid and I had that kind of freak out moment, I invoked the idea of being on a beach in the morning as the sun was rising. And I wasn't able to fully conjure the beach, but what I was able to do was I was able to conjure the sun rising. And I was able to get past that initial freak out moment. So basically where I'm at in my present lucid dream journey is I try to make the sunrise when it's dark. So I'm trying to do that right now. And hopefully one of these days soon, I will be able to invoke that in a dream. And maybe I'll be able to play around in the lucid dream state some more. So with that, I just want to leave you with the message that I think that you don't have to have studied neuroscience to be able to gain deep insights into how we think. I mean, neuroscientific studies are cool, but I think that we can all tap into our own personal understanding of the workings of the brain just by having conversations with others. And I think it's really cool, especially to have conversations about dreams. And I think that it's my conversations about dreams that have been able to move me along in my own personal lucid dream journey. And I'd encourage you all to give it a shot if you like. Thank you. Oh, yes. On a scale of 1 to 10, for someone who's never lucid dreamed before, how hard is it to lucid dream? I think that probably depends on a lot of different factors. I know that there are a lot of people who don't have that many dreams. And so if you're one of those people that doesn't have very many dreams, I think it's helpful to start a dream journal, because that'll get you to a position where you start actually appreciating that you do have these dreams. And also just kind of like setting your intention before going to sleep that you're going to remember your dreams, which can kind of help you, set your brain's context to recall your dreams. And I think that's getting yourself past that hump is part of it. And then I think beyond that, I think it's kind of like it's a matter of doing the weird things that would reveal to you whether you're dreaming or not. Like if I did this with the mic while I was sleeping, this would become like weird and mangled, and I'd kind of have that freak out moment, and I'd have to like calm myself down. And I guess it's also an appreciation that, you will have kind of this kind of like, you could have a kind of freak out moment like I do, and just kind of like being ready for that. But it's definitely not the stuff of nightmares. But it does get a little bit weird. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. That was insightful and appreciate. Hopefully we can all go home this evening and we can all try out some lucid dreaming with those tips in mind. Yeah, everyone willing to give it a try? All right. So our next guest this evening is an absolute powerhouse, and you'll see what I mean when we welcome him on board. He's going to share his insights again on lucid dreaming, and it's for some of you who walked in here and who are live in person, you will have seen his artwork that we will be raffling off as well. So I hope you got your raffle tickets. If you haven't got a raffle ticket yet, come and see me or Valerie or Eva, and you can quickly grab a raffle ticket. But I'd like to welcome Pat to the stage.
I'm going to make sure this isn't a dream. Hold on. All right, we're good. I'm PJP3, the artist. About a year and a half ago, I was Patrick Peters. I was an entrepreneur working in the technology and media space. And on April 6th, 2020, I went to bed, just like any other day, except, we were experiencing the early days of the pandemic, so pretty stressed out. And I woke up and I started feeling sick, and I got more and more sick over about a 20-day period. I had COVID, and I had COVID early on, so I was laying in my room all alone. And I had to fight for my life in order to actually not go on a ventilator. I had acupuncture done to me every day. I would keep it in for 12 hours, sometimes even more, and I would just lay there, and the acupuncturist was able to open up my lungs, and I didn't have to go on the ventilator. The crazy part of the story is I went to bed an entrepreneur, tech entrepreneur. I spent my entire life working towards building my company with my partners, and I woke up that morning and I looked at the canvas that I randomly had in my room, and I said to myself, you need to escape this. You need to get lost in something. And I started to paint. This would happen where sometimes I would literally lay sideways on my bed and I would start to paint on my side, and Eventually as the days went on, I was able to get up and start painting, sitting down on my bed. And again, I would, I was able to start to figure out that I was escaping this severe pain that I had. So my COVID experience started to end, I thought so. About 25 days later, I started to realize that something was wrong with me. I noticed that I couldn't tell you if I wanted a Gatorade, what a Gatorade was. It was really kind of hard to walk. My legs, were wobbly. And so I never really associated it with a traumatic brain injury, but it turns out I had a traumatic brain injury where swelling happened in my brain. And it took me a long time to figure that out. I just kept telling myself, post-COVID issues. Realized that I had a traumatic brain injury. During that time, I realized that my old dream of being an entrepreneur was gone. And I needed to find something to escape to. So art, I decided to put my heart and soul into it. And it wasn't until a famous artist in Southampton came up to me and told me after seeing my work that I was an artist. I had no idea that my work was even that good or that I even should consider it. But then I started looking at it as a way to connect with my dreams in this world. So now I'm a full-time artist. I have a traumatic brain injury. I have brain swelling. I can't carry groceries, and all I can do is paint. It's still hard for me to read. Talking to you, my head swells up. I've decided to make this my new dream. And the crazy part about this and how this ties to dreams is 7 years ago, my best friend called me somewhat in a panic on a Saturday morning and told me that I would be a famous artist one day. And I shrugged it off and just went about my life. But I remember the day, and I'll never forget it because I'm an artist now. Pay attention to your dreams. I didn't dream I just recently started dreaming again. Whoever asked that question on Facebook, I had the same experience. You're not alone. When I started dreaming again, it was like, those experiences what you have when you're younger where you're like, oh, that was monumental, it was life-changing. Maybe it's your first trip to Vegas, or maybe it's like the first time you go to a movie theater. But when I started having dreams again, I told myself, remember these, because one, I believe that my subconscious is trying to tell me things maybe I'm not accomplishing, or things I'm trying to overcome. And my dreams now are so tied into my current life that I have no choice but to get up in the morning and talk with my beautiful girlfriend Vivian about our dreams, because they're absolutely tied and related to what is happening in my life, whether it's pain or my artistic expression. So now, as an artist, I use my dreams as a way to inspire my art. So I'm hyper aware of my dreams. I do have memory loss, so it's hard for me to remember them. But when I wake up, I start sketching right away in the morning. And a lot of my work is me inducing and regurgitating the dreamlike state that I'm experiencing. There's one thing I would tell you is if you're experiencing pain, which I know a lot of people here are, specifically in the brain, find your escape. For me, my escape is art. It is my drug. I can't take other drugs. They make my brain swell up. So my escape is art. So if you're struggling, find your escape, whether it's cooking, whether it's painting, whether it's writing. Just keep trying things. And if you can escape your pain for 5 minutes through it, to me, that is a gift that you should not ignore. So I create to escape severe amount of mental anguish. I live with constant pressure in my head that my doctor said it feels like if you climb 2 Mount Everests, that's the type of pressure that I have on my in my head every day. So for me, it's been life-changing to be able to dream again. These are type of things that when you have a traumatic brain injury, you realize how much you took for granted. And when it comes to manifesting or calling in your new dreams, I became an artist in a year and a half with severe amounts of brain trauma. I can't read. I'm severely disabled when it comes to the real world, but I threw that out the window and I said to myself that I'm still here, so I'm going to do something special every day. Doing something special isn't necessarily about being in the news or being in the media, but it's doing something special for myself, which is expressing myself through my art so that I can inspire other people to get up when they're having a hard day and live a life that's better than they were before, because we all deserve that. We've all been through a shit ton of pain in our lives, but you don't need to continue to live like that. So my art is a message to myself that you can live with this pain, but you can also escape it. So I made a piece of art that we're raffling off today, and it's called Escape, because I wish everybody here the ability to find something, maybe not like a hard drug, but something that's good enough for them to find the escape that I found through art. So that is my spiel. What was my feeling between connecting the dots between my dreams and my escape? It wasn't until I started dreaming again that I connected the dots. And then it was like, oh, okay, this is a platform. I was searching for ideas on what to paint. And then when that came back, it just connected, like in the art world, it was like, okay, this is something that's fueling, what I want to tell, the story that I want to tell. So it became evident when I started dreaming again. I didn't realize that I wasn't dreaming for the last year and a half. It's just when it started again. Yes. It's a good question. So the question was, how do I break down my day running, becoming an artist, and how do I break it down into steps so it's not overwhelming? Well, I have my business partner, Vivian, who's also the love of my life. So, and we work together, and we just take things really slow. You can accomplish anything you want. I was talking about it with a gentleman here earlier. You just have to get smarter. You don't have to hustle from the sense of my old life. I was working 14 hours a day. This new life, I could literally work maybe 30 minutes a day outside of painting, and that's Vivian and myself dictating like things we have to respond to. So those 30 minutes of critical thinking have to be extremely clear and concise and have to move us forward, or else we have to reevaluate it the next day. So we're making very strategic moves, Stephen, but just not rushing things, not, hustling like we used to, taking a step back and thinking about, the things that can move us forward. Thank you.
One thing my cousin taught me when I was younger was, in order to move quickly, you need to be able to slow down. And I think that's a lesson that we can apply to a lot of things. Now I wanted to welcome Eva here with me. She's going to help me draw the raffle. But before we get to the raffle, Eva is one of our volunteers for today, and she has been phenomenal. We've also had Valerie and Bart, so just a big round of applause for all our volunteers. Honestly, the day and the evening would not go out as well as it does without you, so appreciate all of you. All right, so for those of you who are here and in person and who have got a raffle ticket, we are raffling off this thanks to Pat's generosity. This is his artwork that he spoke about, Escape. All right, Eva, not looking. It's not biased at all. Has everyone got their ticket? All right, drum roll. What number are we looking for, Tom? All right, you've got one? Ready? Okay. Who have we got here? Who is the lucky winner? Everyone got their tickets ready? Stephen! All right! Congratulations! Stephen, this is for you.
Thank you so much.
You are most welcome. Enjoy. Thank you, Eva.
Without further ado, I'm not going to give him an intro. He's a good friend of mine, and I did a documentary on him. And I remembered him talking about dreaming and lucid dreaming in the documentary. And I called him up and I was like, want to come talk? And because it was pretty fascinating. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Justin Sight.
So I'm legally blind. If I talk, but I don't look at you in the eyes, that's why. Lately, it's been kind of interesting because the topic of dreams has been just coming into my life in a somewhat synchronistic way, if you will. So I figured this must be all part of that. I too have experienced that my dreams are often informing me about things that are related to my life. Isn't like that The Dream song? Like you hear that? You're probably curious how I dream relative to my eyesight. I even had a couple out-of-body experiences in the past couple years. I was meditating. So what I've been noticing when I've been asked to talk about dreams, and I have been before, is that when I look back at it, dreams often for me, and perhaps I feel like everyone experiences this, whether they have conscious recollection of it or not. But oftentimes they give you a glimpse of what I might call multi-dimensional consciousness or multi-perspective consciousness. And I'll give you an example of that. Let's say I'm talking to someone in a dream. I'm experiencing that conversation from my point of view while simultaneously experiencing it from their point of view, while at the same time experiencing it from some floating point of view. I don't know, 100 feet away. That's very interesting. The other thing that I have noticed is, yes, there are often times that things that I'm working through mentally show themselves up in a dream. If I'm dwelling on some kind of story, let's say, that's usually if it's something I'm kind of not able to let go of, it's kind of a thought pattern that's bugging me. Let's say it's about my relationship or about my career or something. Somehow that manifests in the dream. And usually I wake up being like, I gotta let this go. And I do believe that that happens in dreams. Anything that you're kind of holding on to, whether it's emotional or mental, kind of something, a loop that you're stuck in, will manifest. And perhaps that's one explanation I've heard for nightmares, is that oftentimes a nightmare is caused because you already have this emotional fear energy in you. And then as you go to sleep, the mind tries to explain that fear. So whether it's dormant or not. I kind of take my dreams with a grain of salt because I feel like they come from certain levels. Some perhaps come from a deeper level. Others seem not so much. Others seem a little, and a lot of that has to do with the state I'm in, I believe. Perhaps I go to bed and my mind's a little frantic or something, and the dreams are a little frantic, a little nonsensical, a little silly. I've also noticed that there is a relationship, for me personally, between intention and dreams. And I've been intending, not like a big thing, but just sometimes during meditation or something, to experience teaching dreams that will teach me something. And I have noticed that that has occurred. One way that's manifested, and I do believe this happens in dreams because I do believe that time as we experience it is simply one way of experiencing time. And if any of you are familiar with Einstein's work on relativity, it does seem to indicate that past, present, and future are somehow all happening simultaneously. And that which moment we experience has to do with basically our point of view or our consciousness. It's really mind-boggling stuff. And this is hard science at this point, this whole relativity thing, because the satellites up in space, time runs differently for those satellites than time runs on Earth. And it's not because anything's different with the machinery, it's literally that because of the difference in gravity here. Time runs a little bit faster in space than it runs here. So it's mind-boggling stuff. And so, to bring that to my dreams, I've often lately been experiencing me trying out certain decisions, things that I've been pondering about doing, things that I've, and I'll give you a very personal example, because maybe some of you can relate to this. I asked my girlfriend, I told her, I think I want to be in an open relationship. Okay, we had a conversation, we decided, okay, that's what we're going to do moving forward. That very night, I experience a dream where, lo and behold, we're in an open relationship and a guy wants to hook up with her. And I get furious. So then I wake up, and basically what the dream is telling me, okay, there's no problem with having an open relationship. Just know that you're gonna have to work through some shit. It's not like it's not gonna be as easy as you think. Anyway, I opted out of the open relationship after that dream. So I would say yes, pay attention to dreams, but I also believe there are certain things in the human psyche that I've observed, certain patterns of dysfunction. Often our minds are, if you've ever dealt with negative internal states or if you're working on yourself in any way, it does seem like there are certain tendencies built in the collective human psyche. One of those is for the mind to kind of often jump to erroneous conclusions about yourself or about other people. And you might start judging yourself, you might start judging other people, things of that nature. And it takes alertness, it takes vigilance to be aware of these thoughts that are going through your head so that you can be more present with life, so you can not be subject or at the mercy of the overlay of your thoughts and judgments about yourself and life. And I do notice that sometimes those things come up in my dreams. It's almost as if these patterns have kind of a life of their own. And they can manifest in the dream. And perhaps they might be telling me something about myself, some kind of judgment, some kind of, whatever, something that just makes me feel not good about myself. And if I wake up and I have this idea, well, I have to listen to my dreams, it could be a challenging situation. And I have had that situation where I've woken up, I'm like, man, is this true? Ugh, this is terrible, this doesn't feel good. And you can kind of get stuck on that. So I would say that before just taking every dream as like, okay, I got to find the meaning of it, for me, what I found beneficial is, okay, first, before I even do that, let me just kind of step out of whatever state I might have woken up in. If it's a dream that I didn't like, let me clear that energy first. Let me meditate, let me do some deep breathing, whatever it is. So then I could look back at that dream with a fresh perspective, and I might have a totally different perspective on that. And the perspective I might have is, rather than that dream telling me like, oh, you're this or that, it might just be, be vigilant of this, because this is something that inhibits you in your day-to-day life. For those that don't know, I'm a magician. And I'm going to wrap this up by saying, it can be said, you've probably heard it, maybe you've even heard it tonight, that waking life can be akin to a dream. You probably might have heard of this already, that what we're experiencing now, what we're seeing, this isn't like, there's no objective reality here. This is, what you're seeing is an image created through sensory input. Your senses take this information, an image is formed in the mind, and here you have reality. Now, our reality is vastly different than that of a fly, who perceives reality totally different, vastly different from that of a horse. So different beings are different ways of experiencing this scope of energy. And you're also not going to believe this, but this entire speech has actually been a subtle form of hypnotic induction. Do you guys feel a little spaced out? Good. So now that you're in that state, we can actually have some fun. What is your name? Ty. Ty? Yep, I'll do this. Okay. Make sure everyone can see it. Can you check out that envelope? Is that an envelope? You want to show it up to the audience so everyone can see? Okay. Feels like an envelope? Feels like an envelope. Great. And I'll take the envelope. And where does it look like the envelope is going? It sure does, doesn't it? Now I'll take that. Okay. And to everyone, where does it look like the card is going? The middle of the deck? Top of the deck? So the hypnotist understands the relationship. The hypnotist understands the relationship between belief and how we experience this subjective reality. See, if you were really hypnotized, I could tell you there's an elephant sitting next to you. And your mind, if you're really deeply hypnotized, you would look over and your mind would take the information that's there, coagulate it in a way that would make you see an elephant. And you would run. You would see, you would smell, you would feel an elephant. So I never gave you an envelope, Ty. I gave you a deck of cards. And I'm not holding a deck of cards, I'm holding an envelope. And you've probably heard the expression that reality is sometimes 180 degrees from what you believe it to be. Wake up. Yes, and inside the pocket, of course, is where I place the deck of cards. Thank you all very much. Thank you, guys.
Out of his Justin's talk, what came up for you? Questions?
Is there anything specific that you tell yourself before you go to bed?
I meditate every night before bed. I do, you might have heard of something called chakras. I do usually a chakra meditation, which is focusing on different energy centers in the body. If you're interested in chakras, you can do a Google search and there's a lot of stuff. Deepak Chopra writes a lot about them. I recommend that as a source. Within that period, where I'm up on my roof, sometimes for a long time, sometimes for an hour, and as I run through this stuff, there often is this kind of processing of the day that happens. I often try to kind of reach deeper levels of myself, and oftentimes certain ideas and things of that come up. And often at a certain point, it is said that if you focus on the third eye chakra, you're more likely to have these more intuitive or insightful dreams. So sometimes I imagine that happening. And like I said, as of late, I've definitely been experiencing a very real correlation and a very real sense of being helped through my dreams, just like the previous gentleman was. And I do feel like that plays a role in it, that intention. I feel intention is the most important thing. You say whatever or do whatever practice feels right to you, but intention is kind of the driving force behind that.
Do you do any breath work with those meditations? I was just wondering, because I like the combination of breath work and meditation, but I was just wondering if you had any insight on that.
Yeah. Breath work is, in my experience, a really great way to get out of your mind. And the more you can get out of your head, I think the better your life is going to be. I think if you notice, if you take stock of your thoughts, you'll notice that oftentimes they really don't serve a purpose. There's certain, I think neuroscientists call it a default mode network. And it's basically what your brain is doing when you're not, where you're not acting, you're not tasking, or there's something else, there's another something. But it's when you're not like doing anything, often this default mode network turns on, and it's usually associated with just kind of useless thoughts. You start thinking about the past, it doesn't really have any relevance to your life. You might start worrying about the future, it's that kind of stuff. Breath work, or any type of work that moves your attention away from your mind, and breath work is one of those things you can do. Doing that for like a minute straight, they call it breath of fire, I believe. That is a great way to get that attention out of your mind and into your body and feel the energy of your body. So whatever method you find, there are plenty of books, plenty of things of being able to do that more and more. You'll find that as you do that more and more, the intuitive faculties within your life will start to open up on their own, because intuition comes from a deeper level in the mind.
My roommate was, and I were discussing this morning. Where is she? Yeah, and attention. Yeah, and we saw an Instagram post, and it was just like, it was really, really profound.
Synchronistic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all about attention.
Where attention goes, neural firing flows, and neural connection grows.
I'm not smart enough to get it, but I love it. I think I get it. Yes, I get it. I'm just kidding. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you. Fascinating. What did you guys think? Yeah? Each with their own perspective on dreams. I certainly don't think I came up with an answer on dreams, but I understood a little bit more about each and every part of the experience of dreams.
Before we get there, I just wanted to share with you the neuro hack and brain hack that I have for you that can help you get to sleep really quickly. All right, so there are 3 steps that you can try when you get home tonight. So the first thing is you get into bed And for 30 seconds, I want you to wriggle around. Wriggle around until you find a really comfortable spot. Second step is to stay still in that spot and just gently breathe. The third step, now this is the key, I hope everyone's paying attention. The third important aspect is I want you to force yourself to yawn 3 times. And the reason that we do that is because our brain actually can't tell the difference between what is real and what is simulated. So when you're yawning, even if you're forcing yourself to yawn, you're telling your brain and your body that you're tired. So tonight when you get home, don't forget, wriggle around, then get really still, breathe, and then yawn 3 times. Now just to make sure that you've all captured that, I want us to practice 1 yawn together. All right, ready? Everyone, on the count of 3, we're going to do a forced yawn. 1, 2, 3. Felt good, feeling a little tired. All right, so.
She did the yawning, and now we're going to slightly wake you up. So we are harmonic flow. We're going to get you into a meditative state. How's everyone feeling? I just want a few words. Just close your eyes and connect with the word that you're feeling right now and just say it. Say whatever, whoever. Say it. Great. Someone. Happy. Someone on my right over here. Should I touch you? She took it. Happy took it. Anyone else? Anyone else feeling anything else? Intrigued. Okay. Excited. All right. Wonderful. Ooh. All right. I invite you to take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Breathe in through your nose. And breathe out. Beautiful. I see whoever's standing. Are you feeling a little tired? Just keep standing. Allow the tiredness to come in. Those who are sitting, feeling excited, relaxed, peaceful, invite that feeling. Take a deep breath in, breathe in again, breathe in through your nose, and breathe out. And slowly we all are going to join in this pranayama. It's called a Brahmari breathing, where we're just going to hum. We're going to let go of all and release everything that's within you. And if you want to take your index finger and touch the cartridge of your ear. You can open your eyes and see cartridge. This is a cartridge. Do it from both the sides of your ears. I'm going to do a demo. And hum. Someone's going to do. Okay. I know you do meditation, so can you do the hum? Sit up straight. Feel relaxed. You can all do it a little louder so we can feel that hum, the sound of hum. It's almost like a bumblebee. Let the music take you. Do it, it'll be a little fun. Feel the vibration, and as you're feeling that, connect to that part of you that's feeling a little residue, stress. Just keep humming. And breathe out. Keep breathing in and breathe out. Visualize that part of your body that's feeling a little tensed, a little stressed from sitting, from hearing all the stories. Visualize that part of your brain that you haven't exercised for a while. And let go of your index finger. Stop humming. Let the vibration of that hum calm you down further. Let the sound of this music connect to your heartbeat, connect to your breath. Breathe out. Take a deep breath out. Let it go. Connect to that part of your body that feels a little stressed, a little tensed, a part of you that's stuck over there. Take a deep breath in, breathe in through your nose, and breathe out. And as you're breathing out, let go of that part of you that's been stuck, that's been in there for too long. Let's take a little bit more oxygen. This beautiful Williamsburg oxygen. Breathe in and breathe out. Connect to this music, connect to people around you, and connect to your heartbeat. And as you're connecting to that heartbeat, go a little bit deeper. Whatever that deeper means. So feel the pulsation of your mind, of your brain, and let that pulsation, the energy flow all the way through your throat to your heart. And let it open up a little bit. The part of your heart that's not been opened, that's not been touched, that's not been seen. Go inside there. Use the energy of all of us sitting here, of all the beautiful faces, the smiles, of people surviving, of people overcoming, of bravery, of courage. Take a little bit of that and invite it into your heart. Remember the time where you were courageous, where you were brave, where you couldn't do, where you thought you couldn't do something, and you did it anyway. So remind yourself of that courageous version of you and invite that part of you into this heart, into this moment, into this being. Take a deep breath in. Let's take a deep breath in together. Take a deep breath in. Open up your heart. Let the oxygen go in. And breathe out, let go, and release and expand. And as expanding, let all the beautiful juiciness, the juicy, juicy courageousness spread to every part of your being, to the part of your brain. Visualize it blooming, going into the spaces that felt really dark. Far too long. It doesn't need to be dark anymore. So visualize. Allow the sound, the music to take you to those dark, deep alleys in your mind, into your heart and your spirit. Bring them all together to those parts of you and let it bloom. Dissolve your body. Dissolve the pain. Dissolve the versions of you that are limited and in vain. Take a deep breath in. And let this breath refill you, recharge you, revitalize you. Connect to your feet, and your feet connecting to the earth. Take a deep breath in, and breathe out. Feel the connection with the earth. And all the resources that are out there for you connecting to this earth. And breathe out. Visualize a door in front of you. And keep walking. And see the beautiful flowers around, or the sun is shining, or your favorite people as you're walking down this road to this door. Visualize the handle, the doorknob, and you're opening it. And as you open it, let it be the most beautiful door, the most beautiful knob that your mind can create, that your heart infuses its energy. And behind this door, as we all open up, we all see a beautiful new dream, a new reality, a version of us that we haven't seen before. Or we've been seeing far too many times. We see it much more clearly. So open the door and walk in. And as you're walking in, take whatever you need. Your dream is your reality. Allow the music to allow you to feel your reality. And allow the reality of your mind, bring it into this reality. And open your eyes and take whatever you saw there and bring it back here. Thank you. I hope you all saw some good dreams there, because you all definitely had some beautiful energy. So thank you for this beautiful opportunity. This is Ayaka, and I'm Shri.
What great talks tonight. For the nightcap, I hope you all have your refilled glass of wine. As I have been often doing, is passing it over to someone else. And this is a special friend, and I would like to call up Ty Hawkins.
With so much enthusiasm.
Yeah. So I would like you to give the toast.
Me to give the toast. All right. I should be good at this because my major is communications. But no, I just want everybody to raise their glass, and I want to toast tonight to the way we ended the session, to good energy. To everybody here, thank you for coming out, and this was amazing. So I just want to have a toast to good energy, to dreams, what this was all about. Let's toast to dreams, and let's toast to, again, just having positive energy to end the year well, and to throughout all the craziness we've been through recently, to just go to end this year well in positive energy, and to start 2022 in a very positive note. So cheers to dreams and positive energy.
Cheers. Cheers.
That was lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. This is where we close the night, but for the live stream and the Zoom audience. But you guys are welcome to get another drink, of water, or or you can get another drink of alcohol. We got plenty left, and share your dreams with one another, and see what came out for you and another, and connecting each and every one of you. So.
Thank you so much to everyone
Cheers.
for being here this evening. It was great to have you, and look forward to seeing you next month.